Hello, this is The Harboring Light. I'm Mary. I give a conservative perspective about the world around me. And you enjoy my content and you want to support, I will have that link for you. And then with your support, and it will be an exclusive content. Let me say that again. Exclusive content available for you. And so that's the perks of wanting to you enjoy my content, wanting to support the channel, you get that perk. Okay, so, and comments, questions, concerns is greatly appreciated. So feel free to email me, follow me on Substack, X, and of course YouTube comments, and that is greatly appreciated. So on to the topic of the show. So today's show, well, today, tonight, whenever you're listening, early in the morning, whenever you're listening, it is about Spain and food. And again, on Fridays, can't emphasize enough the great appreciation I have for all you listeners out there. So I'm going to start out with the listeners that started with me, and the seniority, that's what I'm searching for the word to say. And, that started out with me with the podcast. And so I'm addressing the country of Spain and the food. And so in this particular episode, I'm going to first talk about foods that are suggested to eat. And also, I see, sweetie. And also foods that, breaking down the ideas of getting away of what you would typically think about foods from Spain. To wrap it up in a nutshell, what that's about. All right, so let's dig in. Okay, so I'm going to start out with the 8 myths about Spanish food. So it goes on to say, and this was first published October 8th of 2015, and it's been modified. The recent modification is in 2020 on September 8th by Lauren Eloise, believe the pronunciation of that. All right, so it goes on to say spicy chills, thin tortillas, and even flowing sangria. These are things that you will not find in Spain, or at least not without hunting them out. Stereotypes about Spanish food run just as deep as those quintessential Spanish images of bullfighters and flamingo dancers. But like those characters, Spanish cuisine is much different in day-to-day life here than the rumors that are surfacing. Yeah. These 8 myths about Spanish food will totally change the way you think about eating in Spain. All right. Number 1, it says Spanish food is spicy. Yeah. Although Spanish and Mexico speak the same language, that is far as the similarities go when it comes to cuisine. Much to my taco-loving charge. That's quite funny what the writer is saying. So it says, that means there are no enchiladas, no burritos, no refried beans, and definitely no hot sauce. There are only 2 things that this spice-loving Southern, and then this person is of course talking from their perspective, but I'm reading from what they're talking about. So this person is from the South and has found in all of Spain that there are actually spicy hot paprika spice churritos from the region of Leon and spicy goulash. I believe the pronunciation of that. Those help me out with that. My Spanish listeners from Spain. Imitation baby eels that have been sauteed in garlic and dried whole cayenne peppers. All right, so on to the next about tapas. Yeah, tapas. All right, so it says Tapas are perhaps Spain's most famous food. The irony is that tapas are not one specific food at all. Instead, tapas refer to almost any type of Spanish food that is served in a very small portion. And all of the overall act of going out in a group and sharing food. These little morsels are often accompanied by a glass of wine or a mini glass of beer called a cana. While going out for tapas is extremely popular in some regions of Spain, such as Granada, the South, the Bilbao or San-Sebastian in the north, and Leon in the northwest. In many cities, it is much more common to share larger dishes, as known as raciones, whether sitting at a table or sitting at a bar. Many people order a handful of these bigger plates to share family style when going out for dinner. And at home, people almost never serve tapas unless it is a big family holiday, home cooked meal, or either a 2-course affair or family style shared plates. While holiday meals usually begin with an hour or so of appetizers, they are referred to as aperitivos, not tapas. So sangria is super popular. Despite the fame as Spanish specialty, sangria is a beverage reserved almost entirely for tourists. Ultra touristy beaches are spectacular with restaurants and bars landing out litters of the sweetened wine and fruit drink. But venture from the tourist zones and sangria starts disappearing from the menu. Instead, Spaniards tend to go for tinto de verano in the southern Spain or in the north of Spain. They are both like a simplified version of sangria and sans the floating fruit. Okay, so the tinto de verano is made by mixing red wine with lemon soda and the mixes of red with Coke. If you must make sangria, however, at least make it the right way. So that's a duly note there. So Spanish wine is just okay. If it was any good, why would Spain be more famous for mixing their wine with soda and fruit than savoring it on its own? It is because Spain is notoriously bad at marketing the wonders of their natural cuisine internationally. Spain is the largest wine producer in the world. It also sells wine for less on average than any other major wine-producing country. Much of Spain's grape is harvested and sold to bottle in France, Italy, and Germany, where those Spanish grapes are sold under foreign labels for a much higher price. The wine that is bottled in Spain is made from many of the same varieties that are sold abroad, but because of the harvest in Spain, it is so abundant in price, they are often pushed even lower. That means you can get an excellent wine price. So it's marked for a bargain. So the euro is marked at 15 in many cases, less than 15 in many cases for this. So tortillas have something to do with flour or corn. And then it shows, and of course I have this link provided for you in the episode, and it shows an image of eggs and potatoes. They are the star of Spanish tortillas. To make a Spanish tortilla, you don't need flour or corn or any other type of grain for that matter. In Spain, tortillas are closely resembled as a breakfast omelet than anything you'll find at a Mexican restaurant. Tortilla in Spanish effectively means egg patty. By large, the most popular type of tortilla in Spain is made with fried potatoes and onion squished together with beaten eggs and cooked in a saucepan until the exterior is golden or brown, or the interior is delightful with juices and it's slightly runny. Another popular tortilla in Spain is what is called the tortilla francesa, a French omelet. Beaten eggs are poured into a hot griddle to form a thick sheet of egg. That sheet is folded into thirds and often served for dinner or sandwiches. Paella is a seafood dish. While paella is a popular Spanish rice dish, it is often used with shrimp, clams, scallops, and fish. However, a traditional paella is completely seafood free. So, the name of paella popping up across the globe, paella makers in the dish hometown of Spain sought to set the record straight last year. Valencia, to be precise. After polling more than 200 restaurants, 6 of the region's top chefs, and countless emails and recipes for Valencia's research defined the traditional paella recipe to include snails, rabbit, chicken, tomato, peas, salt, saffron, and olive oil. That being said, seafood-packed Spanish rice, even if it does feel a bit unauthentic, it's still called paella. So tapas are free. If it sounds too good to be true, that's because in most cities across Spain it is. A few places, Grande, for example, are famous for the large, filling, and delicious tapas that most restaurants give out free when you order a drink. But the free food bonanza is just a fantasy, though throughout most of this country. While almost every Spanish restaurant will serve you something to snack on with your drink, more often than that, free snacks is nothing more than a bowl of potato chips, olives, or a slice of cheese. And to end, vegetables are everywhere. Yes, Spain is a Mediterranean country. Yes, Spaniards tend to eat copious amounts of olive oil, and fish and other good-for-you foods highlighted in the Mediterranean diet. But no, that does not mean you'll find fresh vegetable dishes on every menu, at least not at the restaurants. Vegetables are often absent at many meals in Spain. Main dishes are almost always some kind of protein like steak, fish, or meaty stew, and they are usually accompanied by fried potatoes. While there are plenty of spectacular vegetable-based dishes in Spain, fresh veggies are often a scarce commodity on the restaurant tables of Spain, and safe for eating at home with the family. So if you're planning a trip to Spain and want to avoid these Spanish food stereotypes, check out, and it gives you the link if you're interested, Devour Spain, and they run amazingly information of delicious tours in Madrid, Barcelona, and Seville. Alright, so that's a lot of information that I gave out. So my main point of talking about introducing this and then getting to the other aspect of the segment of different food suggestions for Spain is to get the overall idea in which I keep repeating, and this is my emphasis too, on top of giving my appreciation to all of you that listen to me. I also want to emphasize how important it is when you highlight a country on their foods, their literature, their fashion, and so forth. It's important to break down and get into the perspective of what is uncommon about the country, so you break stereotypes or narratives about certain countries, and then you get to the heart of the matter of what the people really enjoy, what it's really like. That's being said. It's one, and it's another step to go beyond to the other step to just venture out and And I can't wait till I get to that point to venture out and travel. But, and from my point of view, I think it's good for me to talk about things in this way, because I think that makes it, because I think it's really important to search for the authenticity of something. And I think this is a way of doing that, just, simply talking about the unknown of something, of a country or region, or something other in general, or like the unknown of something you might know about every day, you might use every day, the unknown things you might not know about, fabric softener, or, something mundane like that, that gets the spark of knowledge going. And that's my intention too, another intention too for my podcast, to revamp that spark of the power of the thirst for knowledge. All right, with that being said, let me go on and move on to the other segment, the foods that are suggested to try from Spain. Here we go. Okay, so as a note, I recorded the rest of all of this after my kids got out of school. So, you hear more and more in the background. So keep that in mind. Even though this is pre-recorded, my thoughts are live. So I just wanted to give that as a disclosure for all of y'all. If you hear all the kiddos in the background, that's what's going on. They're out of school, and I'm working that in. All right, so let's jump into the rest of the segment of food from Spain. Okay, so here we go with, now these are entitled 12 Unusual Foods to Try in Spain. So this is by Esme Fox, and it was written up in 2018, March 14th to be exact. So I'm going to start out with migas. This fried breadcrumbs or fried flour. It may seem an odd sort of meal, but in the south of Spain, it's one of many people's favorite dishes. The breadcrumbs or flours are fried along with garlic, pieces of green bell peppers, and pieces of chorizo spiced sausage. Rabo de torto. Remember, and this is what I'm referencing of the writing. So it says, remember we told you that every single part of the animal is eaten in Spain? Yes, that, and I'll go back and talk about that. Yes, that means the tails too. Bull's tail stew is a popular dish, and the particular part, particularly in Córdoba, or Córdoba, where it is said to have originated. You can find it in other regions too, though typically in restaurants close to bull rings. So the bull's tail is braised and then cooked with ingredients such as onions, peppers, tomatoes, red wine, garlic, and other herbs and spices.
Okay, you done?
Okay, so this particular dish explains what was said before. So, quesadillas, and this is the bull's tail, as intending the testicles, even those are not wasted. So, quesadillas are most commonly dipped in eggs before being wrapped in breadcrumbs and deep fried. goulash fritas. So these are fried let me say that again. So they're fried sea creatures, and they are another unusual Spanish delicacy that isn't very common in other countries. These amenities, that's what I was trying to say previously, amenities are typically deep fried in breadcrumbs and have a squiddy texture, like squid texture, and a fishy flavor, so much as you imagine them to taste. And let me go on to talk about morcilla. Morcilla, I believe the pronunciation of this. British people will know as morcilla, as black pudding, but for everywhere else, it is congealed pig's blood, and it's made into a type of sausage. Sometimes rice is added to make a more hearty and filling sausage. Morcilla is eaten all over Spain, but it originated from the region of Castilla y Leon. One of the best types of morcilla de Burgos, which is spiced with cumin and hails from the city of Burgos. Anguillas, I believe the pronunciation of that. So anguillas are baby eels that are around 2 or 3 years old. They measure around 8 centimeters, which is 3 inches long, and are about twice as thick as a noodle. They are usually eaten on their own rather than part of a dish, and are typically sauteed with oil and herbs, garlic, dried chili peppers, and white wine. Like goose barnacles, they are particularly expensive and are mostly eaten in the Basque country. Okay, so crochets. Eating fish is not really unusual at all, but perhaps eating just the fish cheek is. Crochets are essentially just that, cod or heck cheeks cooked to perfection. So you'll find this on many menus, particularly in the Basque country. So calcots, the only vegetarian item on the list. Calcots are perhaps not very scary, perhaps with some of these other foods. A cross between spring onions and sweet leeks. Calcots themselves are not unusual, but the way they are eaten is. They are grilled over an open fire and eaten whole, not used as an ingredient in dishes. Calcots are best eaten dipped in romesque sauce made from crushed almonds, red peppers, olive oil, and garlic. Ortigas fritas, fried sea amenities, are another unusual Spanish delicacy, but it's very common in other countries. They are amenities that are typically deep fried in breadcrumbs and have a squiddy texture. I'm sorry, I already said that. So horchata de plancha. Horche a la plancha. So from tails to others to ears, grilled pig ears are another common food to try in Spain. First, they are boiled with herbs such as laurel leaves, pepper, and garlic. Then they are marinated in spices, including cumin, paprika, before being fried until they are nicely crisp. And so, caragols are snails, and they are eaten in Spain as well as in France, particularly in the region of Catalunya. There are various ways of cooking them, but one of the most popular way is a la luna, where they are baked with garlic, oil, paprika, and cognac. Other versions may use tomato sauce, white wine vinegar, or whiskey, depending on the region. Okay, Montes de Cristo. The Spanish eat every part of the animal, and in Spain they eat every part of the animal, and that includes the feet. So pig trotters are not an uncommon item to eat on the menu. So in the past, the unwanted parts of the pig or cow were given to the poor people whose job it was to kill them as a type of payment. So, in fact, they had to become very creative at finding ways of cooking them. So pig trotters are often boiled and flavored with garlic, bay leaves, saffron, and peppercorns, while in Catalana, you may see stuffed pig trotters on the menu. Hey, baby. So I'd like to know what all of you think. Please feel free to, leave comments, questions, concerns, all about this, about the aspects of food of Spain. And then, your thoughts about unusual foods from other regions or unusual foods in America. I'd like to know what you all think about that. Because I think Andrew Zimmer did a really good job at that aspect of capturing the importance of, what that says about a country and their unusual foods, how that translates to what they think and feel in their culture. So, this reaches the end of the Harboring Light. Tune in, turn up, and absolutely take care. And as I mentioned on a previous episode on Wednesday, so on Monday I'm going to go and rehash Stephen King and do a deep dive about the aspects of how that's a tear on society to have this image of children and the way that he presents them, particularly in scenes that just are not appropriate. And so that goes back to me thinking that, it's not alarming. Hi, baby. It's not alarming in the way that he's reacting today. And it's unfortunate that he doesn't, that foresight to understand that it's important to protect children from being exposed to certain things. That's our future. So I'm going to go into that, how that's, you got to look at that. What is he actually saying by pushing this agenda? And, that's how the degradation of society strips down. But also it's another aspect to leave it up to debate too about the aspect of free speech. But free speech does come at a cost, and then you have to have a moral compass with your free speech. So I'm going to chime in on that on Monday. And I also like to know ahead of time what you all think about that aspect of how Stephen King, then, people who justified, particularly in the scene of it, those who have read the books and those who know what I'm talking about, how using the scene between these young children, that this is a metaphor when in fact it's a gross perversion of it, a gross perverse image, and it should not be that as a metaphor, seen as a metaphor. It shouldn't be justified. So I'd like to know early what you all think about that too. So feel free to either email me, find me on X, find me on Substack, or of course, comment heavily and YouTube. It'd be greatly appreciated. All right, so tune in, turn up, and absolutely take care out there. Bye-bye now.